So what we're going to see happen now in Washington, D.C. is that members of the Republican Party in Congress and the White House are going to get together and decide the scope and the eventual cost of what they want to build along the U.S Mexico border. It's very clear that both the Republicans in the House and the Republicans in the Senate are on the same page as to whether or not to move forward with the construction of additional border barriers and the strengthening of security on the border. However, what has to be defined now is what kind of a barrier will be constructed on the border, what its length will be, how much it will cost, where it will be built. All those are questions that we're going to see hammered out between Congress and the White House over the next few months when the White House formally requests additional spending for the construction of any barriers on the border. So at this point, it's logistical challenges and legal challenges that could delay the construction of a wall. First of all, we have to see what the scope of the project will be. The larger the barrier, the more likely that it'll run into things like violations of existing regulations, resistance from locals that don't want their land expropriated for the construction of a wall, and just factors like that. We have to really see how big the wall project is, how big this barrier project will be. However, we do expect some legal challenges to arise to this project, and those kinds of factors would probably be what would delay a project like this. So we already saw today that the Mexican president reacted very negatively to the announcement from the U.S. president yesterday about the construction of a border wall. Obviously, from Mexico's point of view, this is a sensitive issue, and it's one that's going to have to be hashed out between the Mexican president and the U.S. president in subsequent discussions. One of the big red lines in the sand, so to speak, for Mexico is the persistent demand from the U.S. administration that Mexico reimburse the United States for the construction of such a wall. That's a sensitive domestic political topic, and it's not something that the Mexican presidency would agree to easily, if at all. So because it is so sensitive and because it would represent such a big loss of face for the Mexican president domestically, particularly ahead of elections in 2018, it's something that the Mexicans are going to dig their heels in on, probably before any negotiation on other substantive topics such as NAFTA gets started.